Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Broku, and welcome back to another Dragon Ball video. And this is a brand new what if. What if Goku taught Kaio-Ken to his friends? This is a question that always gets brought up because something like Kaio-Ken could really bring the other fighters back to prominence and make them at least relevant, as the Kaio-Ken is an amazing technique that was just forgotten about in the Namek saga, but then was brought back to prominence itself in the tournament against Universe 6 when Goku stacked Kaio-Ken times 10 on top of Super Saiyan Blue. Now before we get further in the video, guys, it would be very much appreciated if you did leave a like and subscribe. And if you guys are interested in Discord, there's going to be a link to my Discord down below if you want to join. I have to give a big shout out to Saiyan Anime for the artwork for my thumbnail, and that's featured right here. I really do appreciate it. I think it is really good. And guys, you should go check out his YouTube channel. Here's a link down below in the description. Saiyan Anime, be sure to go check him out. Thanks for the thumbnail, man. Appreciate it. Anyways, after Goku using the Kaio-Ken times 10 in the tournament against Universe 6, he would then go Kaio-Ken times 20 on top of Super Saiyan Blue in the tournament of power against Jiren. Now the original drawback of this technique was huge amounts of stress, strain, and stamina on the body, and that the technique was only supposed to be used for doubling the power. But it seems that is only for people with lower sources of power using this technique, as King Kai himself, who created the technique, was weaker than Nappa when he expressed it shouldn't be used higher than 2 times. But Goku, who then surpassed King Kai, not only used a times 3, but even used it as a times 4 after. Goku was very weakened, very stressed, and lost all of his stamina. He could barely move, but he survived. And then just a few days later, Goku, after gravity training and a Zenkai boost, not only goes Kaio-Ken times 10, but then goes Kaio-Ken times 20. He literally goes over 10 times the limit stated by King Kai, which is insane. Which also shows his technique is wrong. Kaio-Ken is not meant to only go 2 times. King Kai probably just thought of it as himself, and he noticed that if he ever went over 2 times for himself, that he was heavily straining himself. So Goku has gotten much stronger from this point on in the series, meaning that it's likely could be used to higher folds of power. Maybe we could see a Kaio-Ken times 50 or a Kaio-Ken times 100. Of course, Kaio-Ken is not as good as the Super Saiyan transformation because that form is way less physically taxing, drains way less stamina, puts a lot less stress on the body, and can be used for much longer periods of time, and we know that it can be mastered. We don't know about that with Kaio-Ken. But what if Goku had taught the other Z fighters how to use the Kaio-Ken technique? How would this have changed things in the future of the show, and how strong would the Kaio-Ken get? Well, let's get into this, guys. Now, when would Goku ever have the time to teach the others the Kaio-Ken? Well, the first possible time would have to be during the 3 years that the Z fighters had spent training for the androids. I feel like that would be more than enough time for Goku to teach the Z fighters this technique, as King Kai taught Goku both Kaio-Ken and the Spirit Bomb in less than 4 months. Also, this would just, make sense. I mean, they were preparing for the androids to come, so it would just make perfect sense for Goku to actually teach the others how to do this. It would give them a much higher chance at survival and defeating the androids. Now, who would all get the Kaio-Ken in this what if scenario? And how high could they go with it? Well, I'm gonna say all the people who don't go Super Saiyan. So, Gohan doesn't learn it, as Goku would try and teach him Super Saiyan, and Vegeta and Goku wouldn't really use it as well. But Piccolo, Tien, Yamcha, and Krillin all learned the Kaio-Ken technique during the 3-year gap. We also need to assume that they all trained together. So now gauging the power of the Z fighters after the 3-year gap in training and the actual canon. We do know that Piccolo is beyond Super Saiyan Goku during the Namek saga, as Piccolo trained for 3 years with Goku, who could go Super Saiyan, and Piccolo himself was confident that he could defeat the androids, even knowing that the androids themselves could easily take out a Super Saiyan. It is hard to gauge the power of Krillin, Tien, or Yamcha, but I doubt any of them are even close to a Super Saiyan level. I'd say Krillin would be the strongest of them, and we could say he is as strong as base Goku during the Namek saga, Tien close behind at 2.5 million, because Goku was a 3 billion base, and Yamcha the weakest at 1 million. Now we do know that the highest level of Kaio-Ken was a 20 times from Goku, both on Namek and in the Tournament of Power. But that does not mean that it is the highest. But for the sake of this point of this video, we will use it as the highest and then further expand on that in later parts. Let's say Piccolo can use Kaio-Ken times 20, Krillin and Tien can use Kaio-Ken times 10, and Yamcha can use Kaio-Ken times 5. Now the thing is that with this is that this would actually make Goku stronger, as he would be fighting against much stronger people during the training, since they'd be using Kaio-Ken, and in turn, this would make the Z fighters even stronger as well, since they'd be fighting a stronger version of Goku. Let's say this makes everyone twice as strong across the board compared to the original Dragon Ball Z timeline. So not a huge difference, but still, twice as strong is a good deal. This will not only make Goku twice as strong, but also Piccolo, and Piccolo is going to be the key to this story. Now, to be honest, the whole Kaio-Ken thing wouldn't really affect the story at this point, except for Piccolo using it. All the other fighters, it really doesn't matter. Krillin, Tien, and Yamcha are all too weak. Even Krillin with the Kaio-Ken times 10 would be half that of Final Form Frieza at 100%, and Frieza is nothing at this point. So there are some things to notice here. The Android 19 vs Goku fight would have to go a bit differently because Goku would be twice as strong, and he would put up a better fight against Android 19. But it still would ultimately go the same. 19 would take power from Goku's Ki Blast, and it would take more power, so Android 19 would be more powerful. And then he'd be absorbing Goku's base power, which would be twice as strong, and so therefore this Android 19 would have gotten twice as much power as he originally would have, and would be stronger when he'd go up against Super Saiyan Vegeta. Now, this wouldn't be enough for Android 19 to overcome Vegeta, but it'd still be a closer fight. And the same events would still have happened. Goku would suffer the heart virus and be taken away to given his medicine to come back at a later date and fight. After 19's death, 20 would escape and run away, and eventually they would catch up and Piccolo would spring his trap, causing 20 to try and take energy from him, letting the other Z fighters know where Android 20 is. And now Piccolo would face off against 20, and Piccolo alone would be easily be able to defeat Android 20, as he would be twice as strong, even without the Kaio-Ken. But I do believe he still would have been interrupted by future Trunks, which would then still lead to Jiro's escape and to the actual activation of Android 17, 18, and 16. Now leading up to the Android 18 and Super Saiyan Vegeta fight, it would go the exact same, with Vegeta even as a Super Saiyan getting destroyed by the female android. But when the rest of the Z fighters rush in, this is where Piccolo would stand out. If Piccolo can go Kaio-Ken times 20 for shorter periods of time, then he could likely maintain Kaio-Ken times 10 for at least a significant amount of time. Now Piccolo as Kaio-Ken times 10 will be 20 times stronger than the Piccolo that was absolutely destroyed by Android 17 in the main Dragon Ball Z timeline. Now would this be enough for him to challenge Android 17? Well, it's possible and I think so. First we have to look at the Piccolo-Kami fusion, where it made Piccolo at least as strong as 17, if not a bit stronger. So is the Kami and Piccolo fusion a 20 times multiplier more or less? I'd honestly say less, and that it is weaker than what Piccolo would be at this point. And that would make Piccolo, Kaio-Ken times 10, stronger than the Piccolo-Kami fusion in the main timeline. So at this point, he could literally take on both Android 18 and 17 at the same time while using Kaio-Ken times 10. And Piccolo would be thriving on this, that he and Namekian is going head to head with these androids, showing that he has actually surpassed the Super Saiyans, mainly referring to Super Saiyan Vegeta. But at this point, Android 16 would likely intervene, as he did against Imperfect Cell in Dragon Ball Z. Now Android 16 along with 17 and 18 would be sure to overpower Kaio-Ken times 10 Piccolo. This is where Piccolo uses Kaio-Ken times 20 and puts him on an even playing field with all three of the androids. But in the middle of the fight, just after a few seconds of using Kaio-Ken times 20, he is reverted to his base form. His body can't keep up with the Kaio-Ken, as he can only use Kaio-Ken times 20 for very short periods of time. Realizing this, Piccolo flies off and escapes using his Kaio-Ken times 20 just for speed. And he lands on the lookout to meet with Kami, and essentially demands for them to fuse, as he knows if he does, he could probably defeat the androids right then and there. Kami, we were once a single being. Yes, Piccolo, that's true. Well, we need to fuse now so that I can defeat the androids myself. And Kami would agree, not much disagreement, and Piccolo becomes the ultimate Namekian of sorts. Now imagine Piccolo, how strong he was prior, and now imagine how strong he was fusing with Kami. So now he'd be twice as strong as the original fusion, and even without Kaio-Ken, he alone could probably take on 17 and 18 at the same time. And then with Kaio-Ken times 3, or maybe even as low as Kaio-Ken times 2, could defeat all 3 of the androids at once. So Piccolo flies back down to the surface of Earth after fusing and challenges the androids. Of course, he'd have to draw them out and find them because their ki can't be sent, but Piccolo would be able to take on all these androids at once. Piccolo, as a Kaio-Ken times 3, not only defeats the androids, but he kills both 18 and 17 while also killing android 16. But since this happens at a faster rate than in the actual story, Vegeta never goes in the time chamber, as Goku doesn't get healed in time from his heart virus to tell them of it, and Trunks doesn't either at this point. Imperfect Cell arrives, and Piccolo would easily defeat him as well. Essentially, this makes Piccolo the hero of the story, and he's by far the strongest Z fighter, even without Kaio-Ken. And Goku and Gohan never spend a year together in the time chamber. Cell never becomes perfect, so Goku doesn't have to sacrifice himself. This leads to a really weird, but also cool and interesting divergence in the timeline. Piccolo is now by far the strongest warrior, and not only this, he's the actual hero of the story. There is no Ascended Super Saiyan, no Ultra Super Saiyan, no Super Saiyan 2, no Mastered Super Saiyan or Perfect Super Saiyan yet. And Gohan is still a bit of a wimp, but still, Trunks would be like, can you guys help me stop the androids in my timeline? And this could have been taken care of in many different ways. Either Piccolo would go with him to defeat the androids, or Goku would tell him of the time chamber to go in there, train, and then defeat the androids. And so let's just have Trunks go in the time chamber. He comes out, his base form is several times stronger, and he still finds out about Super Saiyan Grade 2 and 3, or Ultra or Ascended Super Saiyan. He then heads off to his own timeline, thanks Goku and everybody else, and he would defeat the androids. But before he leaves, he tells Goku and Vegeta, I found something more powerful than Super Saiyan itself. You guys should look for it. So essentially giving Goku and Vegeta something to strive for. And then over the 7 years before the tournament and eventually arrival of Babidi and his goons as they try to come back and bring back Majin Buu, Goku and Vegeta train intensely, but separately, to achieve the new levels of Super Saiyan. Goku and Vegeta do get much stronger, and their powers are similar to that of Buu Saga when they were that strong, but overall weaker. And they don't even have Super Saiyan 2. Goku, he got Ascended Super Saiyan, but found out that the cons outweigh the pros of that form, so he decided to Master Super Saiyan instead. And Vegeta has Ascended Super Saiyan, deciding he wanted to use that because that's what Vegeta did against Cell. And also during this whole 7-year gap, Goku and Vegeta would eventually get their rematch, a sparring match, and this would lead to Goku winning because overall, the Mastered Super Saiyan form would be able to outlast the Ascended Super Saiyan form, and Goku wins. And so basically, when the tournament starts, there's no bad blood between Vegeta and Goku. Goku was alive for the 7 years, so Vegeta was able to get his rematch. The only reason why Vegeta went Majin Vegeta and killed innocent people is solely just because he wanted to fight Goku again, and that would have been his last chance to do it, as he would have had to go back to the other world. Over the 7 years, Piccolo took a huge interest in training Gohan even further under his own tutelage. Now, instead of Gohan becoming weak like in my previous what-ifs where Goku survives and Gohan doesn't have to go in the time chamber, he actually is stronger than he was in Dragon Ball Z. And Piccolo would actually help Gohan get the Super Saiyan form. And when they all gather for the tournament, Goku and Vegeta both look at Piccolo and Gohan in awe. Wow, Gohan, you've become stronger than even me. Piccolo is a great trainer, father. He was quite strong himself, too. And Piccolo at this point is actually still the strongest Z fighter due to training intensely with Gohan for 7 years. Also, Piccolo would also train Goten since he would probably like him as well since it is Gohan's brother. This would make Goten a beast as well, but not insanely strong that he's gonna be able to match up against Goku, Vegeta, and the other Z fighters. So how do you think this would change the entire Buu arc and even further into the series or Dragon Ball Super? I will be continuing and likely finishing the series in the next video, but let me know your thoughts down below. How would this happen with the Buu Saga? How would this happen with Battle of the Gods or Revival of F? Let me know what you guys think would happen if essentially this happened where Piccolo is the strongest fighter. He has Kaio-Ken. But anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do leave a like if you did, subscribe if you're new, and turn on notifications if you want to see more of my videos. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitter and join my Discord. Those will be linked down below in the description. And thanks to all my Patreon supporters, Daraj Payton, The Awesome Guy Only Sports Broku on Patreon, and Zach Otaku, and those are my Super Saiyans. And now thanks to my Super Saiyan 2s, Israel Flores, Mystic Ghoul, Darius, Badass Thug, Griffin Jacob, Sin Overlord, and Dutch Gamer Monkey. Thank you guys so much. The support is amazing and it really does mean a lot. And I hope you guys all have an amazing day. Peace out.